Hello friends, welcome again to my YouTube channel where I share some interesting ideas, a novel way of doing things. Yeah, it's been a little while since I posted a video. It was over Christmas and I had different Christmas gifts to give away, and yeah, I made this one gift here when we were invited to people to try to drive them crazy. You might have seen these things. On this side there's two washers on this particular one here, and I made about 15 of those for different people, and the idea is to have a washer on this side and a washer on that side. Actually, when you start out this little procedure, you give it to them like this with one washer on each side. That put them in gales and fits trying to figure that one out, but anyway, maybe you could make one and see if you can do it yourself. And yeah, it's 2023, New Year's, had some family come to visit, and yeah, there's lots going on, and I wanted to do this video on a sharpening jig for lathe tools. And yeah, but I needed to make a diagram up, so you would have a diagram if you want to make one of these. And I had a tooth extraction, not yesterday, but the day before, so I was laid low yesterday and thought, oh, I'll make that plan up for you. So you'll get a plan with this video, so you'll have to wait till the end to see that. But if you have a wood lathe, one of the most things that you need to do is sharpen your tools properly. And there's lots of videos out there on how to sharpen them and using these tools and these diamond wheels and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to go into any of the sharpening. But maybe you're like me and you don't have a lot of money to spend. Well, that's really not the case, but I seem to want to make everything rather than pay out the big bucks. But a lot of people like to pay out the big bucks and have this all fancy equipment. But I tend to want to do the same thing that they do for a fraction of the cost. And when I originally started out, I made some jigs, and they didn't work that well. I got, the idea off the internet. And then one day I was at a place and they had a sale on a manufactured jig. And I thought, oh man, I'll get this, get the whole setup and for less than $100. And yeah, you get these setups and they don't give you a lot of instruction. It's hard to figure out how to use them. But yeah, you just have to go on the internet, and there's lots of professionals out there that do a real good job. But the unit that I got was this particular one here, and it's got the basic thing to hold your tool and the thing that you set at some angle that you're never sure what angle to set it at, but anyway. But the problem is this one had a tall tower here, and trying to make that grind, what they call Ellsworth grind, or different names for the same thing. It was okay on the one side, but when I flipped it over towards the grinder, well, this big knob here hit the grinder, and you couldn't make it like you wanted it to. So anyway, I kind of gave up on that idea for quite a while, maybe a year or two. Then I was watching a video, trying to think of the lady that promotes this, a 40-40 grind, and you don't need a jig for that. And you just set your tool rest for 40, I guess, and then side line on the side of your tool rest for the 40 on that side, and you do it by hand, just roll it around, and that works good. But that particular grind is not as useful as the Ellsworth and that grind. Good for bowls and things like that on the inside, large bowls. You can remove a lot of material fairly quickly there. So anyway, I just was doing it with that and getting along okay. And then a friend of mine that's a professional turner, he lives down the road from me, and I live way up in the north, so there's to find a professional turner you have to go a long ways. I think the next place that I know of is 300 miles away, but really fortunate to have it. He had the one-way system. I think it's called a vari-grind or something, and I looked at that and I thought, oh, I'd like to get that, but $100 or 100 and something, I'm not sure what it costs, but anyway, I looked at that and I thought, well, hey, I could make that. So took a picture of that, and I made this one here. This one here. Same thing, all out of metal. And I called it My Way instead of One Way. My Way. This is my way of doing things. Make it myself. Anyway, that worked out, and that solved a lot of the issues with the grinder there. And I've used this, and it made life a lot easier for me. And then I was thinking, well, you know, I always like to pass information along. Yeah, I can do things for myself, but I like to think of, well, is there a simpler way to do this that other people could do it? You know, they may not have metal lathes and welding and cutting equipment and so on and so forth there. And I have several friends in the area that's got, you know, minimal wood lathe, and they enjoy it. And I thought, well, I'll make something that they can make, and not. So this is what the process. This is what I'm going to be talking about today. Is a version of this out of wood, and believe it or not, it works just as good as this one, and this one works just as good as the one-way one. So this one's my way, and so I guess you can guess what I was going to do. Probably I was going to make it out of wood to make it simple for you, because you're working with wood. You got all the tools, and it's just a matter of doing the same thing out of wood. So this is my wood one. Okay, same thing. It's got the thing here, tower here, way to tighten your tool down, and it works fantastic. In fact, I like this one better than the wood one, the metal one, because it's much lighter. So this one here, I just put these names on here this morning here. I call it the only way. So this one is the only way, okay? So in this video I can demonstrate how it works and all that, so I should go set up the grinder. And then I have quite a few pictures of this that I'm going to put up in this video. So there'll be a lot of information for you to follow, as well as the diagram there. And of course, once you have the idea and you say, oh, I could do that, yeah, you can do your own thing, but I've got dimensions and stuff on it there that corresponds to the one-way. So you can convert your one-way into another thing. The only difficult part here that I see is how to make this. Now, underneath here, I don't know if you can see it there. Yeah, I guess you can. I just got a T-nut. I think they're called T-nuts from the hardware store, and that gives the thread for the wood through the wood here. And then you have to. I just found a bolt here that was long enough with 1/4-inch threads on there, and that worked okay. And then I took and I necked the end of this bolt down, and then a little hole, and then on the other side I left this thick enough that I could just take a center punch and hit it with a center punch, so when you when you raise it up, it doesn't fall off. It doesn't fall off there. But you may have to be a little creative. Now that could be, I used aluminum piece that I had there. You could use a piece of plastic, a little easier work, or even wood. And you wouldn't necessarily have to secure it there, but you could come up with some novel ideas how to secure it to the end there so it doesn't fall off and you lose it. Maybe just one of those magnets would catch on there, would hold on to the end here. Just thought of that now. Those rare earth magnets, maybe something like that, and it would just pop on there, and yeah, whatever. Anyway, I'm sure you'll come up with something there if you're really interested in making this and you don't have a manufactured one. So somebody out there is probably looking for some idea like this. Okay, so I guess I should demonstrate it, and yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. Oh, I've got some things after I demonstrate it that maybe for my next video that you'll be very interested in. The two basic things on this to grind are the part that this goes in has to be, if you're going to duplicate all your cuts, you can't be messing around and just randomly do it all the time. So that needs to be set fairly accurate. And what I've done here on this time is I've made sticks for the different tools that I have, and I just put that stick in there and to set it up. And then if yeah, and that worked out fairly good. You might be able to see some tape on there. I put tape on there once and put a line on there, but that's not the best idea. It's kind of sticky there, and I haven't taken it off. The other thing, of course, that you need to do is set your tool up for the distance. And I'm using the standard 2-inch hole. So it's 2 inches from here to there, which I learned from the different people that do the grind. And if you have it all set up, it just takes a very slight, you don't have to take a lot of metal off. And your tools last a whole lot longer by using a jig. But usually with hand grinding, people do that. But yeah, if it's me anyway, I keep making a mistake and then have to regrind, and before long I've got a whole bunch off. With this setup, just very quickly to make a thing. So I'm really happy with the Only Way unit. It just feels light and it's easy to use. So it's preferable to the One Way, actually. Okay, so that's my tool, and I'll give you lots of pictures and diagram to do one of those if that's something you might need. This manufactured one, I have it set up for spindle gouges because I don't have to roll it so far to do the grind. It doesn't hit the grinder, so I just set everything up for my particular spindle gouge. I don't change anything once it's set up, so that works good. And these ones here, I didn't mention, once you got it set up, you can put a line on here with a pencil, or you can drill a hole through there for a little dowel to pop in there for specific grind if you need to move this. And And of course you can do the same with the My Way one too. You can mark it with a felt pen or drill a little hole and have them set up. So I've got two of these now, so I can have this set up for one particular tool and the other one set up for another particular tool if there's a change in grinding. And actually the only thing that the cost of this was that little T-nut there, and I got 3 of them. So I could make 3 of them with, because you come in those little stupid plastic pack things that cost a fortune, which is the package is more valuable than the actual parts that they put in those little plastic things there. Drives me nuts. Pay that much money for a couple screws just because it's inside a little plastic box. Maybe you think that's okay, but I certainly don't. Okay, I said that I'd show you my next project for a video, and so you'll want to subscribe so you don't miss this one. But this is the best project that I think I've ever made. That's the most useful, something use every single day pretty well. And so it's something that you do when you eat. Anyway, and most of you eat at least 2 times a day, maybe 3 times a day. But anyway, this is the project. Looks a little simple, but what makes this so fantastic is this is a pepper grinder. This one's a pepper grinder. This one's a salt grinder, okay? And what's unique about this, the workings inside here are electric. So it's a one-handed operation. Push the button and you can salt your food. Okay, you see that there? How nice that is. No grabbing the thing and working it back and forth. And of course, the pepper one works the same. And you have your pepper fire. What's even nice, which is nice too about this, there's a light under here, so it shines down on your food. So if you want to eat by candlelight, yeah, candlelight, that's very nice and romantic. You get to see what it goes on to your food there. Or you could do it in the dark if the power's out too. So that's a point too. You know, every so often the power goes out. So that unit in there, I've used these for many, many years, and on the same set of batteries. I just changed the salt one there a couple days ago. And but anyway, those units, I'll be telling you how to buy that unit. Now I buy these units locally, actually, here in northern Canada. So I'm sure they're available in any other other places too, where you have large stores. And I pay less than I would to buy those kits that you have to make them up in 2 pieces and all that sort of thing. Yeah, probably half the price almost, or equal to it anyway, if you get a good deal on those other ones. So. And people, I've only made a few. I gave one to my daughter's son's parents, and they had just one of them. I gave them to one Christmas time, and they were begging for another one, so my daughter contracted me with making me a bunch of cookies to make another one. So they phoned me up, and they're just so happy to have the other one for the salt. So yeah, if you're going to sell these, once people get the word how nice these are, they'll be banging your door down to get more. So anyway, I'm going to make up another one, and so I'll show you how to do it. It could be, I never made one of the others. I bought some of those units, but I never got it put together. It seemed to be too fiddly, but I love these so much that I probably won't ever make those other ones. Yeah, so anyway, so you better subscribe, or you'll miss out on an opportunity of a lifetime. So take care, and we'll see you probably the next 2 or 3 weeks here. I'll get energy up to make one of these. I know one of the stores, I was telling them about them, and they thought, oh man, could you make some of those for us? Yeah, so it's in the works. Take care. Bye.